Today on MommyBKnowsBest.com, I'm chatting with two talented, fun, real women who make up the performing duo 2Carats, Shayna Rose and Elizabeth/Liz Shea. They share their hair color, love of music, and a spunk, and will be chatting with us about 2Carats, their backgrounds, and where they're headed. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. And from singing to acting and even blogging, these wonderful ladies are ready to conquer the world. But first, let's find out where they caught the music bug. So Shayna, let's talk a little bit about your music journey and when you first fell in love with music and performing in general.
My love of music actually started by watching the show Kids Incorporated, a show Liz actually watched when she was a kid too. And immediately, as soon as I saw those kids acting and singing and dancing, I was like, that's a pirate's life for me. I was done. So, and then my parents took me to see my first Broadway show, The Secret Garden in New York City, and that just reinforced that I just wanted to be singing on a stage.
We know from your bio that you came from a musical family, but who would you say were your early musical influencers in your life?
Well, definitely my dad and my brother sang a lot, and I wanted to do anything my brother did, but also I would see Bette Midler in Beaches and For the Boys, and those movies had a huge impact on me because she was doing something different and performing and singing and emoting so much in those movies that I just fell in love with that, as well as growing up in Nashville around Amy Grant and Emmylou Harris and Vince Gill and Reba McEntire, and those performers just really inspired me, and I had the opportunity to meet them growing up, and of course didn't appreciate it at that time, but now now I so appreciate the fact that I got to meet them and interact with them as a kid. And so growing up, I did all the other stuff, acting and everything, but the music part really just was the streamline through my life, and started writing in my teens, and met this songwriter, our mutual friend Steve Dean.
And how, if at all, have your music taste changed from when you were younger to now as you build your own style of music with Shayna and 2Carats?
Gosh, when I was young, I was into like what everybody else was into when we were young in that generation, like the Spice Girls, the Backstreet Boys. Right? But
if you want to be my lover.
That's I went to that concert actually. But you know what? Pop music is a great influence for anybody because I think that pop music at its core really is melody, right? I mean, I think when we think of the Beatles, that was sort of the origins, in a sense, of popular music. And so I think that's a great starting point for anyone, even if looking back it's kind of cheesy, you know?
Well, here's a funny story about my family. My mom, her father was a huge country music fan and listened to the Grand Ole Opry every night. So she was so sick of it that when she moved to Nashville with my dad, she was like, I will never listen to country music. She hated it. So we actually grew up listening to soft rock of the 80s and 90s. And it was only through working at Opryland that my brother and I were introduced to country music, and we started working there very young, age 7 for me, and we fell in love with country music and brought country music back into our home. So that was something that was a turning point for us because I definitely wasn't introduced to it as a child, but then from 7 on, I fell in love with it and never turned back, I guess.
Never turned back. No, you're just reinventing it now, you know?
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
She had a stint of Nora Jones kind of style in her career.
Well, you know, I will say that going back to the For the Boys movie, I fell in love with old standards. And so, no, I definitely have had a broad influence of music styles. And so I did love that kind of old standard type of stuff. It's so fun to sing. But really, my writing core is country music.
Yes.